Okay, so in our last video, we spoke about Abacus AI, and we went through the route LLM and all the different models and options that we have through the chat option. And today we're going to do the second part, and after that, maybe there will be a third part. We'll see. But basically, today we're going to talk about the agent, the deep agent that they have here. And basically, if you remember, if you look in the sidebar, so we have projects, we have chats, and we have the deep agent. And in order to access the deep agent, once you're in the system, you click on Deep Agent here, and then that takes you into the Deep Agent page and section. And like I mentioned also in the previous video, Abacus made here a very big and huge, actually, system with a lot of different options. So we won't be able to go through all the options, but I hope that this does give you a little bit of a glimpse into what is possible, how this works, and what kind of system they built here, which is quite impressive. And I remind you that all of this system is with a subscription of either a $10 per month or $20. So I want you to keep that in mind while we go through, so you understand what you get for this kind of pricing. And I think that this is very lucrative, especially for someone who wants have a one-stop shop where you can do basically everything and use all the different AI tools in one place under one subscription. So we will start basically, and here we have the Deep Agent. As you can see up here, I'm on the Deep Agent, and of course, first thing that we have is the chat window. We can write here and do basically whatever we want. We have here the option of uploading files and connecting to apps. And we have here another option, which is a high effort that will basically should boost and make the agent even better or even stronger. I might do a different video about this and try to compare between the usual deep agent and the high effort one. If this is something that you're interested in, then please do write in the comments below in this video, and I'll be happy to do a follow-up video about that. So under the chat here, of course, we can do here also a voice, and we can write the text. So if I click on the voice, for example, I can say something like, please make a web app for trainers and workouts, and that's it. Okay, and then it basically does and transcribes everything that I said, and then it could be set up in here. And of course, another thing that they have with the voice is that I can change the language, and there's many different languages here that you can choose from, including Spanish, Portuguese, Hebrew, and so on. And of course, we can just type it in as usual. Underneath that, we have how to, where basically if you click on that, it will take you to a page with all the documentation and explanations about the system, the different options that you have, the enterprise platform connectors, API case studies, and basically all you need to know in order how to use the system in the best possible way. And it's very elaborative. There's a lot of information there. And the other thing is the connectors. If you click on that, then you can see all the MCP servers and all the things that you can do. You can connect Slack, Teams, Confluence, Jira, SharePoint, Gmail, Google, OneDrive, Box, X, GitHub, and many more. And you can also add and configure your own MCP through here. If you do want to do that, then there's also a how-to do that and how to set that up here. And you can add basically any kind of MCP server that you want, in addition to what they offer. So you have all those options. And then below that, we can see here, there's like a menu with featured stuff that you can see. And there's also according to different subjects. So you can see here apps and APIs. You can see PowerPoints, which is more, presentations. You can see use cases of browser use for schedule tasks or browser tasks. You can see chatbots, AI workflows, trading, video, code, and under more, you can see research, because you can also do, of course, research, and you can also do data analysis, and you can do here a lot of stuff. Now, one of the nice things about this system is that it's not only to see here the use cases, but you can also click on one of them. For example, Smart Invoice Generator, and I can click on it. I can see what this is, just a small description, a short description. And after that, we also have the actual prompt that was used in order to generate this. And we have a short video, a few seconds every time that we can play. I'm going to put it on mute for now, but there's also like a sound in the background here. But we can use it as well. And we can see the whole process of what happened, what they asked for, what were the questions, how, and everything. And of course, to see at the end, the outcome of what they did here. Okay, so after they did this whole table, and they added everything, and what happened here. So if I want to use that, and if I want to use this exact prompt, then I can just click here on try it. Below that, another thing that I really like here is that you have an approximate credit use. So you can see how many credits something like this ought to cost you. And then you can also plan ahead if this is something that's worth the credits that you have and so on. And of course, you can also come here and you can just copy that specific prompt, come back up here, paste the prompt, and then edit it according to what you want and how you want this to be settled. So you really have here maximum flexibility, and also a lot of things that can give you a lot of help in order to, you know, find something that's similar to what you want, or just to look at different ideas, even if you don't have an idea at the beginning, and just try things out. So there's a lot of stuff here that you can do with the deep agent. It's not a regular, like a deep research or just a simple AI agent. This is a more elaborative one. This is, again, how the deep agent works. And basically, I want to show you one example that I already did just for you to understand. I think one of the most interesting parts, although everything here is interesting, but I think that apps and APIs is super interesting use case for this kind of thing. And what I did is I just thought of an idea that I would like to do, and I just want to show you this use case. So basically, you can see here, all I did is I wrote to it, I want to build a web app that has the following features. There is a field, and on purpose, I wrote this in this way that it's like really not a good prompt, but just a free, very common, simple instruction, like someone that's totally not technical. And I want you to see the process and what we get at the end. So I want to build a web app that has the following features. There is a field where I can add in an idea that I have. Then an AI agent asks me follow-up and clarification questions based on this idea. And then it goes and does deep research to find all the information and write a compelling and amazing PRD file for my dev team. Now, if you don't know what PRD file is, it is basically a product file, product development file, where we basically write in very much details of what we're looking for, what's the use case, what's the clients, what's the technical stuff that we want, features inside, and more and more and more. Usually this is a very long and elaborative PRD document that helps us later on to build different projects, if it's for mobile apps, web apps, systems, and you name it. So the first thing that it does right after, and because I already did it in order for this video not to be too long, although it will probably be quite long, but what I did is I first told it, I sent in, what it did is I sent in the prompt, and after the prompt, the first thing that it does before it goes and starts working and trying to understand what it needs to do, then the first thing it did is it asked me some clarification questions. So it asked about user management, PRD storage, export options, research scope, conversation history, and it asked me to answer all these questions. And it said, either answer the questions or tell me to choose the appropriate answers and move forward. For this use case, just in order for everything to move smoothly, I just told it, choose the appropriate answers and move forward. And that's what it did. And then it started to build the idea and the plan. And you can see here how it starts to basically move through all the stuff and start building all the code and all the different files that it needs, and all the different environments, components, scripts, env, everything that a system like this does. It did just basically all of this. And you can see here, UI. Okay, all of this, it just built step by step through here, and it went through all the stuff. So you see updated, running, and writing, and it basically goes through the whole process. Now, one of the first things that it does is that it goes and it tries to think about what it needs to do before it starts to do the process. So that's also something that's very interesting. And then it starts to write all the code. It writes all the code, runs some tests, writes the codes, run tests, and so on and so forth. And this takes about 20 to 30 minutes, at least this time. It might be a little bit longer, a little bit less, but this is in general. And then it tells you, okay, complete PRD generator with AI. And then you have basically two buttons. Don't mind the restore right now. That's just, I'll explain about that soon. But basically you have two buttons, review or deploy. And you can go to review and review your app, which we will do in a moment. And you can also deploy right away from here, which we will also see in a moment, okay? Now, after we went through all of that, it tells me, okay, your web application is ready. You can review it or deploy it. And another thing that we can see is that after that, we can see here on the side exactly how many credits it costs to create this web app. So we can see that it costs us almost 2,500, 2,460 credits. Just to remind you, you have here two levels of subscriptions. One is a $10 subscription that gives you 20,000 credits and access to all these stuff, the chat LLM, deep agent, and everything. And you have the higher tier, which is the pro tier, which you have for $20, you get 25,000 credits, and you have, according to what they say, a deep agent that's even better, a more improved version of the deep agent. And of course, you get access there to any new versions or updates that they have, and so on. Right now I'm on the pro, but I just switched a few days ago. So it's, I was on the $10 for a very long time, and I think that that could be enough for a lot. But here you can understand how much this kind of thing could cost you. Under here, you have also access to all the files that it created, or you can also go here on the side and click on files, and you will see all the files that it made, all the files of the system basically. And I can download the whole thing, and I can take it anywhere I want, to VS Code or to Cursor or anywhere else, and continue working with it and building and improving my system. Or of course, I can continue doing it here on the browser in their system. Now, once it finished what I did, of course, you can also do it yourself, but I just wanted here to show you the capabilities and what this can do. And therefore, what I did is I told it that it looks good, but please use testing details and check that the app is fully functional. Use the browser to sign up, log in, and generate a PRD. And let's do a final test to see that everything is working. Okay, so what it does is that it goes and it does a test. First of all, it goes internally and does a test through the system and through the code and in the terminal and all that. It came back and said, okay, the automated test passed. And then what it did is that it went and did a manual test. A manual test is basically just like if it was any person that goes and does this, with its hands in a computer. Okay, so we can see it went into the browser. It checked on the local host that the system is going up. You can see how it looks. It went then it went and started to do some actions. It went left click, scroll. You can see here exactly all the stuff that it did. When it took a screenshot, you can see what it took. And then it started to check all the stuff in the system, how the sign up is, how the login is working, if it's working. If we click on get started, view demo, it went through everything that it does, and everything that it checked, it basically came back perfect. This works, and continued, which is just like if you had an employee that would do QA on your system to check everything. It's just like that, just an agent, an AI agent that does this in a matter of no time. You can go make your coffee, do something else, be with your kids or whatever it is, and it does all the work for you and checks everything. And once it comes to an issue, then it will deal with that issue. So you can see here it went through, conversation is complete. So it went through the whole questionnaire with the chat, the chat asks only a few clarification questions. The deep agent answered. Then it said, okay, that we went through. Now the research phase is running with a beautiful loading interface showing the progress, and it waited for it to complete. And then the research completed. Now it's generating the PRD. And then we were waiting. The deep agent was waiting for the PRD document to be completed. And once it was generated successfully, it went and said, now let me view the generated PRD. It went and it scrolled down to try and look, and it tried to find it, but then it figured out that there was a problem. So once it figured out that there was a problem, and I think you can see it here. Let's see. Here you can see this is the screenshot. It figured out that there was a problem. Why? Because as you can see, there was nothing. So here we were supposed to see a document. You will see it soon in our demo of this, and then you will see exactly what happened. But it was supposed to show us, the system, but nothing came up. So it went, try to look for the errors, open the console. If you don't know, when you are on a browser, you can always do a right click on your mouse, and then you have inspect, and that's basically what will get you into this page. Okay. And here you can check stuff and go through all the metadata and everything that passes through to try and find and understand errors or issues that you have. So that's what it did. And then what it did is it tried to investigate the code, and it went through everything, tried to run it again, and it did another run. And then after it reloaded and tried a new PRD, a new project, then it finally found the issue. And the way that it found the issue, it could have seen, because it was running tests and it did all kinds of stuff inside the code in order to get the response and get the error. So it found the error. Okay. And you can see it. This was supposed to be the document, but instead we got the error. And then it knew what it needs to do. There's an error. The PRD generation returned an object structure that can be rendered directly. So all of this it did without me touching anything. I didn't touch my computer. I didn't tell it to do anything. It just went through all these actions all by itself, made decisions, changed things, and so on, and fixed the problem without me even telling it to fix it. It just did the whole thing by itself. And after that, tested it again. And then finally, we got to the point where the PRD was generated successfully, and it didn't stop there. It went through, it checked the PRD, it went through all the sections, the target users, the goal metrics. Here you can see more, and it went through the features. It checked the whole thing to make sure that everything is correct. And after it did that, and it checked all the different parts, you can see here, risk and mitigation. You can see here, it went through the features, really went through the whole document that was done. It went back to the main page and clicked on the view and checked that the view and edit PRD is working. It checked here, you can see, went in. It checked that it could edit. If you can see here, there's a small button that edits. It checked that it could do a markdown PDF. So it did a full QA on the system to make sure that everything is working exactly like it should. It downloaded the file to see that it could, and only after it checked everything and went through everything and cleaned up everything, then it came back with a message. Perfect. The dashboard is now showing both PRDs successfully. I can see the student to-do list app, just some tests that we did, of course, personal trainer app, both with final status, clean professional UI with search functionality, and then it says the app is fully functional. I have successfully tested, and it says what it's testing. It's saying everything, and then it did a final test and build some checkpoints in order to make sure that everything is right. And then we got to this point where, again, it says web application is ready, and you can preview it or deploy it publicly, whatever you want. And you can see that after all the QA, that costs us another 3,000 credits. So if we sum it all together, we're talking about around 5,500 or maybe 6,000 credits. And we have a web app that was fully developed, tested, and it's working. So from here, we can add stuff. Of course, we can change stuff that we don't like in design or add features, add buttons, but we have a web app that's ready and working for us. Okay, so if we go and we want to preview it, so we click on the preview, and then we get to this page that we see the preview. Of course, here on this page, we can see the code. We can go back here and see the code. We can see the preview. We can manage our app database and secrets. So if I click on this, it will open another page. And inside the Abacus system, we have a database where we can see the different tables that we have. So you can see here, conversation message, saving all the messages, idea, PRD. Okay, these are all tests that I did that you can see. Users, so it tests all the users, verification token. So everything here is stored in the database. We can see here the storage. If there's anything that we need to see, storage will appear here when the app uses cloud storage features. We have all the secrets here, so we can work with that and see if we need any changes. So we have that access through here. And we have here also the logs that we can see all the service logs. We have here the conversations, and we have here the files, just like we did before. Okay, so we can see here all the files. Here in conversations, we can see our chats. Basically, it's this part. If we had a few chats, then we can go in and see. We can add here a new conversation and continue this project in a new conversation with a new agent or anything like that. And we basically have here that we can see, and we have here also the deploy button that we will talk about soon. So when I'm here, I can go in, and just to show you that it's working, we can see that it's that we have a system. It's called PRD Generator. We can log in from here. Okay, and we can go to sign up from here. So we can see that everything is really functional, just like it told us that it checked and it does everything. We do have here a small issue with the view demo, that when we click view demo, you need to log in, which it doesn't make sense. So that's something that needs a change. But all in all together, it is a system. You have here some information you can add. You can make it more elaborative. I remind you, all I wrote was a very, very simple prompt in the beginning. And I told it that basically after a few questions, just do whatever you think. And this is what it came up with. So everything is operational here. And maybe we want to change some designs and add some stuff, but we have something that is working. So when I go here and I click get started, then I can go and start filling up stuff. I can say something like Ryan AI Voices and put here some email. So we'll call it test123@gmail.com. And we can give a password just for this case and create an account. And we want to see, of course, that our account is created. And you can see here, Ryan AI Voices. We are inside. We can see all our PRDs if we had any. We can create from here a new PRD. or we can click back on the dashboard. We can click from here to a new PRD and start with your idea. And like that, we can do whatever we want. So for example, we'll just give it an easy one, an app for workouts in the gym. Okay, this is our idea. I don't give too much. And then we start a conversation. We want to see that it goes into the chat window. And here it is. This is the chat window. And it starts to ask us questions. So who do you envision as a primary user of this gym workout app? I will say beginners just for the example. We'll go here through some specific questions. So here it asks about pain points. Then it continues like that. I'm just going to do all the questions quickly. And at the end, we can see that there is an issue here because we basically get a duplication of the same message in general. So this is two things that we found that are minor things because the system works. We just want to improve it and do stuff a little bit better than what they are at the moment. Yeah. So we could change that, of course, and come here to the agent, but let's continue just for showing this and doing the whole demo. So we continue here. We do proceed to research. And then after we click on that, we can see here conducting deep research. Our AI is analyzing market competitors and user insights, market analysis, competitive landscape, user persona, technical feasibility. It does a whole research to see everything it needs in order to write that document that we need for our system. And then once it finishes, research completed, generating your PRD. So here it's creating the comprehensive document. Now, of course, if I would build this for real, I would probably add for it some examples of PRDs and how I want it to be structured or something like that. And then the deep agent can learn those documents and make this into a better thing. But we got here a first version of this app, and we have PRD generated successfully. Your comprehensive product requirements document is ready. We can come here and see the document and everything that it has inside. And we can also go here and click on view and edit PRD. And here we can edit every part. You see, I can add here, this is amazing. And I can click save. And we can see that it works. And we can see all the different parts. We can click on Markdown and it will download to our computer. We can click on PDF and download it to our computer, and we can go back to the dashboard. And when we go back to the dashboard, we can see here exactly that same PRD, the same document that we just generated. So everything here looks like it's working. Now let's see what happens if we do reload. And we're back into the main page. Okay, and now we want to see what happens if I log in back to that same one. So I will log in. Okay, so I just put my credentials in that we just did the login for, and it brings us back in. Here's Ryan AI Voices. Here's the app with the PRD document and everything. So it saved everything. It stored everything in the database. It left everything here. The only thing that I'm missing here, there are a few things. I'm not saying that it's perfect. I would go back and forth and make it even better and nicer. But there is something here that we can already start working with, and it's almost done. So yeah, we need to add some design maybe and some buttons, and maybe add some editing features or delete, cancel, archive maybe and stuff like that. But in general, we have something that is working. And that's what's amazing about this. This whole thing took about an hour and a half, which for my time, it took about 10 minutes. And then another hour and 20 minutes or hour 15 minutes was all the deep agent doing, building, testing, fixing errors and making this work. So just imagine on that and how much time and effort this helps to save. Now from here, like I mentioned, we can click on deploy. And once we click on deploy, we have here 3 options, which are very interesting. But because this video is already too long, so we will stop here, and there will be a third part where I'm going to talk about the deployment and other features that they have here. So wait for that third part. By the way, if you don't know me by now, my name is Ryan, and this is my channel, AI Voices, and you're more than welcome to subscribe and like. If you would like, you can come here into the link and see my link tree, or buy me a coffee if you want. And you can see here all the different videos that I have. And of course, there will be more and more videos coming up. So if you want to see part 3 of this video, please subscribe. And of course, you will also have a link below to this deep agent and to Abacus. So if you want to try it out already, please feel free, and I'll see you on the next one.